Hi, and welcome to the Crochet Junkie podcast. Thanks for checking me out if you're new, and thank you for subscribing to those that have done so. You can find me on most social media as Crochet Junkie, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. On Ravelry, I am Crochet Junkie with the number 6, but I did start a podcast group under the Crochet Junkie podcast. And I posted last week's show notes, and I plan to this week, so come check it out. Say hi. I've talked to a couple of people on the group already this past week, so hi to you guys. And I feel like I've got a lot to show y'all this week, so we will jump right in after I take some sips. This is my mugshot. My sister got me this one for Christmas, and it actually says "Let It Be" on the inside, because if you didn't know, I'm a Beatles fan, a huge Beatles fan. I thought that I would start this episode doing some flashback of things that I made. I was going through my stack I have a gift stack upstairs in my craft room that just sort of sits there until I'm ready to give, or that I need a gift. I've had a couple of babies be born. My friend, who I've talked about being due, I showed you some of the gifts that I made him. They had their baby yesterday, and also my cousin just recently had a baby a couple of weeks ago. So I sent her some stuff and the other baby some gifts yesterday. And while I was going through the stack of my FOs, I saw some things that I could show you guys that I have not shown you, and this is called I had the tab pulled up and then I think I X'd out of it. Moroccan Cow. I think it's on the Moogly blog. I will definitely link this in the show notes. It's crocheted, and I used acrylic yarn. The main color is Lion Brand Heartland, and then the stripe is Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable. And so this is going in my Christmas 2015 pile of stuff. I've made a few cows, a few wrist warmers, just easy peasy stuff to make, but people usually wear that the most. Hats, cows, fingerless gloves so you can text. I found that is the biggest gift hit at Christmas time. So I make that and usually some fudge or something to go with it. But yeah, so I will have the pattern to this. It worked up so quick. I actually made two. One in purple and then this green one. And I really, really liked working on it. I'll probably make more even with some nicer yarn for myself. I like to do acrylic for gifts because people need to be able to wash it easily. If I'm writing hand wash only on something, like my mom, for instance, she can't sew a button. She's not going to hand wash something. My sister is in college. Again, she's not going to hand wash something. So for them, it's not that I don't love them enough to use nicer yarns, it's that they're not going to take care of it, and I don't want the item to be ruined because of their improper laundry habits. And this is another hat that I made actually for myself, and this was Lion Brand Unique, I think. And what is crazy about this, so the skein of yarn looked like this on the outside. I had some greens, some purples, and some blues, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. As I started to crochet with it, however, this really offensive bright orange came out of the skein, and it was a huge amount. It's been a long time since I posted. I made this last year, but I posted a picture about it on Instagram, and it was atrocious. And I actually made a hat, pulled out all that yarn, cut it, made a hat from the orange yarn, made a whole hat. It was so much orange. So it would have started out this awesome green into bright orange, and it had been so ugly. So I ripped it all out and just left that little shock of orange in there and continued when it picked back up with the purple. And again, I gave my mom the orange hat, so I don't have it to show you. Her husband's really into UT, even though it's not even burnt orange. It's definitely like bright orange. She thought it looked like UT, so, or you know, the UT colors, University of Texas. For those that don't know, that was kind of presumptuous of me. I live in Texas, so UT means University of Texas to us. There's also, I'm sure, University of Tennessee. Not talking about that one. But my mom's husband's really into college football. Football in general, actually, because they watch the Cowboys too. I am so grateful that I married somebody that does not like sports. There you go. My husband couldn't care less about sports. He's really into technology. He loves technology. But yeah, not sports, which makes me happy because I don't have to sit through sports games. Though with my knitting, I can usually deal with anything. Long doctor wait rooms. Yeah, I always have my knitting, so nothing really bothers me that much. I actually talked about making this hat when I showed you this book and talked about my sweater. And this is yarn that I got. My husband is behind the camera screwing with me. This is yarn that I got on our trip to New Braunfels. I mentioned that whenever we travel, I always try to go to a yarn shop. And this is Wool Silk Blend, and it's got these awesome, awesome baubles on it, textured hat. And I love the self-striping yarn. And that is in this book, like I said. Let me see if I can find. And I'll probably make this again. It was an enjoyable project to crochet. It went quickly. It was, especially with self-striping yarn, and I just love the texture of it. I actually did make another one of these in wool for my daughter, but I don't really like the yarn color, and so I didn't get it to show y'all. Because I just made it so she'd have an extra hat. And this one, I don't have a pattern. I just sort of made it up, and it's quite fuzzy because it's been worn a lot. But this I made for my daughter Prudence. It's a little strawberry head hat. And I just did puff stitch. If you crochet and you know how to do the puff stitch, if you don't, I'm sure you can YouTube it and figure it out, because basically it's just 5 double crochets slip stitched together, and so it makes a puff, you know? I love it. It's like baubles. And then I just did a little leaf. Basically what I did is I single crocheted around to give it the green base, and then I went up into the stitches, I don't know if you can see that, and kind of looped it around so it would look like leaves. And like I said, I don't have a pattern. With crocheting, I can just sort of know what I want to do and make something up. But if you can look at it and figure it out, which is basically what I do on most everything, that's how I did it. And if somebody really wanted to, I could take close-up pictures of this and try to explain it a bit better. But I made that for Prudence, like I said. And I also made this for Prudence. I made a Trello one too, but hers is just, it's not as cool. I feel crappy saying that because it's awesome and she loves it, but it doesn't have any embellishments. It's just blue yarn. So Prudence, I actually made probably 6 of these last year. I found the pattern on YouTube. It's a tutorial actually, and I will link it in the show notes. But basically what you do is just double crochet so much, and then you sew it together, and then you join the yarn around, and you work around. So it's like a hood scarf, which is nice for kids especially, because you don't want to keep up with the scarf and the hat. And with my kids, you know, their scarves get undone and dragged on the ground. Their cows, they don't like them around their neck. They like these a lot better. And I just did this little ridge. She loves dragons and dinosaurs, and so she wanted a dragon. And this is the yarn I showed y'all for the voodoo doll, where I said it wasn't Yarn Love, and I actually used it. So this is some hand spun that I bought, and it's just kind of crazy, really bobbly and thick hand spun. But it worked well for this, and it stands up nicely, which is nice, because a thinner yarn would have just, you know, rolled and wouldn't have looked half as cool as that. Let me put my arms back in it again so I can sort of see. And I actually have a picture of her in this. I'll have to post that in the show notes too, because she looks so cute in it. So cute when it was very cold. So that's all the flashback type stuff that I have to show you. But I do have, I'm getting kind of warm right now. It's very cold in my house. I've talked to you about this before. My husband's part polar bear, and we keep it usually about 68 inside. And I am a very cold-natured person. I'd rather be outside where it's 100 degrees. Yes, I'm not joking. That's nice weather to me. The warmer, the better. You can always go swimming to cool off, is my deal. We live at the lake. You can always go swimming. I cannot, you know, put on enough clothes to be warm. In the winter, I am miserable because it's so cold. But I do have some finished objects to show you. I have some spinning to show you. Can you believe it? All this time I've been talking about how this is a spinning podcast and shown you almost no spinning. But I spun this week. And I will show you my socks first that I finished. For Prudence, just little tube socks. She actually wore them, so that's why they're. And I used the Felici yarn from Knit Picks. I love this yarn. It's very soft, and it feels like it's going to be really sturdy. I wish I would have knit these longer, but she's like a little drill sergeant. Anytime she knows you're making her anything, she sits there. Are those mine? Are you done yet? Are you going to be done? Are you working on my socks? Please be done. Can they be done? Come on. So yeah, they're more like ankle socks, so they're definitely not going to fit her for very long. I still have not found her elephant sock. My husband bought me a laundry bag so I can wash the socks now so we don't lose any more. But I'm sad. I'm really sad about losing the elephant sock. Their room is a little messy. It has some stuff here and there, and sometimes socks, you know, get behind a toy or something. So I'm hoping this week when they clean their room, we'll find that sock. I doubt it. I think it got eaten by the washing machine. Isn't that depressing? So I love this yarn. It's the gummy bear colorway. You can't buy the Felici yarn anymore. It's completely off their website. They only buy a certain amount, and then once they're sold out, they're sold out. And I got a couple of colorways when they had it. And I went back just the other day after knitting with this and to see if they had any more left, and they don't. So, oh well, next year I'll have to score some more. So that is my only knit finished object. I'll show you my spinning. Okay, so I actually did this. I think I showed you this when it was in a cake, and I thought it was awful. I thought it was really awful and rope-like, and then one of my friends at Knit Night, who's a spinner, said to ply it or to try to reverse spin it. And I did that for a little bit, but I didn't really like that. But she also told me plying changes yarn. So even if it's Lucy, no scratching. Sorry. No scratching. Sorry. So sorry. She told me that plying usually changes yarn, and I might like it better once it's plied, and I do, y'all. I so do. It's definitely barber pulled, which I know some spinners try to avoid that. And it's overspun in some places and underspun in some places, and overplied and underplied. It's definitely not perfect. It's definitely full of flaws, but it's yarn, and I can make something with it. And my girls absolutely love it. And I love the colors. It's really navy and pink, hot, hot pink, and purple. But the pink is kind of muted against so much of the purple and navy, especially on the camera. But I will probably make some doll clothes with this. That's what my daughter asked me to do. The fiber was Moroccan String Creations, and it's Falkland. I didn't really enjoy spinning the Falkland, but I really loved the saturation of these colors, and I think that the fiber itself was very nicely prepped and good quality. It's just not something that I enjoyed spinning. This did come from my spinning box. I don't know if you watched the episode where I reviewed the spinning box, but this was one of the things that I got in that. And I love it. I love it. I cannot wait to have a project. I have a hand spun stash. Oh my god. So this also came from the spinning box, and this also is just, it's not so great, and I can't really show you guys because it's so dark. But this is silk null, alpaca. It's a blend, and I could not find the packaging of what specific fiber company this was from. It came in the spinning box, but I spun it and then plied it. You can't really see because it's so dark and it's bumpy. It's the nature of the yarn, I think, because of the silk bobbles, to be like that. And it's just a small amount, but I was thinking it would be cute for a bird of happiness or a blackbird of happiness. And it's got some blue specks and some white specks. So I also spun this, which was from the box, the spinning box. And I spun this and plied it. And this one I'm probably the least happy with. I was the most excited to spin it. And I really, really like the colors. But then I don't think I did a good job spinning it. I think I did an okay job spinning it. I think I did a terrible job flying it. And I'm going to make a bunny nugget for me to keep. I think it would, like a little mint chocolate chip bunny nugget. I don't know. I thought it would be really cute. So this is the Prismatic fibers, and it's merino wool, soft silk, and alpaca. And it just doesn't feel like merino wool or alpaca. It's super scratchy. It's my spinning, not the fiber. The fiber was amazing. My spinning is crap. And I'm so sad. I need to get better. I've been watching the videos from Interweave Knits. You can buy a class. And I've been watching that, and I've learned a little bit, but I haven't watched all the way through yet. So this also came from the spinning box. And you can see, like, right there, that's underspun. Overspun. It's okay though. This is really soft and really beautiful, and probably the most consistent despite the several errors. And it was really hard to spin this because I think of the bamboo. This fiber is from Kamaj Fiber Arts. It's Orion Nebula, and it is Blueface Leicester, Icicle, Merino, Corriedale, and Bamboo. And I think the bamboo really tripped me up a little bit because I felt like the fiber would just slip out of my hands. and I should have maybe done some more spinning or more twists. But overall, I mean, I think it's pretty great. And Prudence asked me to make her a mermaid. So I'm going to do a mermaid tail with this yarn. Probably for both girls. I have more of this fiber to spin, and a little tail will only take so much, so I probably have enough. And this is fiber that I bought a fleece. I didn't buy a fleece. That's wrong. I bought some fiber off of Etsy. I don't know whether what she sent isn't what I read or whether I just didn't understand what I read, but it's very short staple length alpaca. I think what it is the neck trimmings and the leg trimmings versus, you know, actual fleece from the coat, because that's got a longer staple length, and this was very short staple length. I'm not overall happy with what I got from that particular seller, and I won't buy more fiber from her. But I've been working with it, combing it, carding it. It's just stuffed in a sack dirty, so I have to wash it, and this is some yarn that I spun, and it's 100% alpaca. And this actually sat on my bobbin for a long time. I spun a bunch and just let it sit there because I was busy knitting, and I didn't want to spin, and then I plied it just to get it off my wheel so I could spin some of the other fiber that I've showed you. So I'm not really that impressed with this. My husband is. He loves everything that I've been spinning. He thinks it looks cooler than machine processed yarn because it has character. Maybe I'll make him like a little koozie or something, a drink koozie, I don't know. This is also fleece that I bought from a farmer, actually, from a guy who has sheep in Oklahoma, and it's Shetland wool, and I have a whole fleece, and it's gorgeous. I just haven't had a lot of time to process it. Like I said, it's been hot, and I don't want to, I love the hot, but not to work in it. Not to go outside and deal with hot water and dumping and rinsing and washing a fleece. I'd rather wait until fall to do that, so I haven't really messed with it, other than to take a little bit out so I could sample spin, and that's what I did. So this is a Shetland, so it's got the longer hairs that it kind of makes a tweedy effect, I guess. Not really tweed, but you get my point, right? And this is spun and plied. Let me see if I can get a few strands separated. You can't see it because it's black. But I think this is a pretty good job. And I love spinning with this. I did this on my drop spindle and then plied it on my wheel. And I want to do a little blackbird of happiness with this too. Hopefully it will be enough. I'm not sure. I haven't actually made one, so I have no idea. I have the pattern printed, and it's been I plan to make something. We'll see. So that is all of my spinning. I hope to have more spinning. I've been really enjoying it. And I have this amazing fiber that I've been waiting to spin until I'm better. And I don't want to mess it up because I love it so much. Because it's green and purple, y'all. You know how much I love those colors if you've been watching my podcast for a million years. Because that's all I talk about is buying green and purple yarn. So I will get to my whips. Yeah, whips. I have my first whip in my project bag that my friend Andy sent me of the Andre Sue Knits podcast. She also has an Etsy shop. She doesn't actually sell project bags. She sells yarn that she hand dyes and stitch markers and different things. Definitely check her out. She has gorgeous stuff. Her and I did a minis swap, and she was nice enough to send along this little mini project bag, which is perfect for me for one at a time socks, which is what I knit. Oh, here's the elephant sock with its mate missing, because I was gonna just make another, I guess. What else do I do? My poor little 4-year-old wants her elephant socks. So, right. I am making rollers for myself, another pair of rollers, out of Patent Croy sock yarn in colorway bramble stripes, I think. If you can hear my husband talking, I'm sorry. He's outside on the porch having a business call. That's where he talks shop. Sometimes he sits upstairs behind his computer in his office, and I would still hear him in there too. So I tried to get up early enough to record this episode before he got up. So I normally record on Tuesdays, and that didn't work out because I joined the PTO, and they do stuff for the school on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I went up there and did some cutting and gluing and different things, and had lunch with the girls yesterday. Came home, did some chores, sat down to do a podcast, and my husband said, let's go get the girls from school. So we did, and I didn't want to record last night. My time with them is so short now that every second they're home, I soak them up while I can. So I got up this morning ready to podcast. It was so dark inside because it's really overcast today. It rained a little bit last night. It looks like it's going to rain most of the day. So it was too dark to record right where I'm sitting. So I gathered up all of my stuff, took it outside, set it all up outside, and then the maintenance man, or not maintenance man, but yard, what is that called? The landscaper guy came, and I was like, oh great. So I moved all my stuff back inside. He started the mower, and then knocked on the door to tell me that he wasn't going to mow today because it's too wet. So he left, started to record, and then my husband gets up and comes in and starts to talk to me. So yeah, it's been crazy trying to record this podcast. If you have a podcast, you know what that's like. Sometimes it just, despite your best efforts, it doesn't happen like you want it to. I wanted to get an episode out this week, so I'm doing the best with what I can. So if you can hear him, that was my whole point. Sorry. I'm working on my rollers right now. I love this pattern. I feel like it knits itself. I haven't even worked on these much because I've been working on other stuff. But that's where I am with this. I did the heel and heel turn, and now I need to pick up for the gusset and knit the foot. So I'll probably have those done soon, maybe tomorrow, maybe by tomorrow. It depends on how much I work on them, really. I have other stuff I'm trying to work on, so there went my yarn. It rolled away. What else am I working on? The Potter Shawl. And this is in my You Sew and Sew bag. And I think she's actually having a bag giveaway right now because she just got 500 followers on Instagram. So definitely check her out. I actually got a new zipper pull for this bag. She had a little sheep on here. She had this, which I love, and I'm keeping. I made it into a stitch marker. Here, we'll put it on here. See, she had that on the zipper. But I found this one at Michael's when I was shopping for more stitch marker stuff, and I thought it matches perfectly because it's got dream catchers and little owls with Indians, and the fabric on the inside is dream catchers as well. So isn't that new zipper pull just perfect? I'm so excited about it. And it's actually a little bit bigger than the sheep, so it's easier to grab and yank open so you can excitedly get to your knitting. Ah! My balls are rolling all over the place. Sorry for yelling. For those of you who are on or have earphones in, I'm a pretty excitable person, so I yell and clap and shout and hoot and holler, all kinds of stuff. I'm so sorry if it's loud. And then I get really quiet. Explain that, like just now when my voice dropped off. I'll try to talk up. Because you can always turn it down, but you can't turn it up. I watch some podcasts with really soft speakers, and I love what they make, but I almost don't want to watch them because I have to have complete silence in the house to hear anything they're saying, and I don't really like to have a quiet house. I like to have music going. My dogs are always causing a ruckus. Someone's always talking to me. Someone meaning my husband. So that's how much I've worked on my Potter's shawl since last time, from the stitch marker to where I'm at now. And that's another stitch marker that I made, a little teapot. Not much at all. It's still just a purple blob. It's still like nothing really to look at. Never ending garter stitch. It's just, I love it. I wish it was finished. I want to wear it. I'm definitely not going to be done with this by Stitches. There's no way. It's Wednesday. Stitches is next week. Next weekend. It's like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's just no way. And I know I won't just work on this because the garter stitch is killing me and I want to work on other things. So once I get to the border, I think that it will be much more enjoyable. And if you don't know what the Potter's shawl is, I've showed this nearly on every podcast, so I kind of feel bad always showing you all the same things without having a finished object. But there you go. And I had to buy the magazine, the digital download of the magazine to get the pattern. But I think it was worth it. I would have paid $7 for this pattern anyway. So buying the magazine, which I have more patterns to knit from now, wasn't that big of a deal. So yeah, I wish I could get that done. I wish it was done. I'm so sick of looking at it and working on it. I love what I have planned. Oh. Let me get this back out so I can show you something else. Sorry. Sidetracked. Okay, so I have this for the border planned. And then while I was at Michael's, I got beads. I am going to bead the leaves. I'm trying to figure out where there's no glare. There we go. Won't that be pretty? Be all fancy? I can't wait. I can't wait. I've never actually worked with beads before. Not with crocheting, not with knitting. But it looks really easy. I watched a tutorial. It looks easy. Something that I can manage. So I'm going to go for it. But I'm kind of sad it won't be done. It won't be done for a while. We'll go ahead and put the beads in there with that. I also made some stitch markers this weekend. I showed you the dream catcher, and I just put a lobster clasp on this sheet that I took off of the, I'm sorry, I'm trying to show you the best way, that I took off of the bag. So now I have that little sheet. I have a boot, a cowboy boot, love it, and a dragon. And this dragon's probably going to be a complete pain in my ass. Sorry if that's offensive. Due to the wings and the tail getting caught on yarn, my teapot kind of gets caught, just a little. So maybe not, but it's more meant as a progress keeper as opposed to a stitch marker. But I love the dragon. I couldn't pass it up. And this little guy, I've actually had, I have no idea where it came from. I found it. Can't tell you where. Can't remember because I've had it years, a lot of years. And it's just been in my button bag, and I was looking for a button, and I found it. And now that I make stitch markers, I thought, oh, let me get, you know, some copper clasps and jump rings, so I can turn this guy into a stitch marker. And I'm so excited because it's like, I love copper. I just love that little owl. So I have a few more stitch markers. Like, you need more. I enjoy making them. I enjoy putting them on my bags, these zipper pulls. You can never have too many, right? So I also showed you the beads that I got. I also got some yarn from Truly Hooked. And she is an indie dyer out of England. And she actually is in a like a competition to be the best indie yarn person. So go vote for her if you love her yarn, Truly Hooked yarn. And I have been following Verdi on Facebook and on Instagram for a couple of years. Her and I originally bonded over baby wearing and natural parenting. And she's also a crocheter that turned knitter. And she started dyeing yarn. I've bought yarn from her a couple of times just because, you know, shipping overseas can be kind of expensive. But when she posted this, I caked it up from a skein. The skein looked much more amazing than this does. But it was, so the name is Wagami, Purple Prickles, and it looked a lot different online. That's one of the hang-ups that I have about buying yarn online, is how much different it looks on my screen versus what I get in real life. And sometimes I have yarn regret because something comes and I'm like, well, that's not really what I thought it would be. Be that as it may, even though this is much more coral and pink than purple, I love it. And I think that it looks like highlighters to me. Just a big box of highlighters. And so I'm going to make some socks for myself. This base is her MCN base, merino cashmere nylon. And I'm going to make socks for myself, back to school socks, for the Love Sock Wool podcast, since they look like highlighters. So that's totally back to school socks. And I'm also making, oh, but that's it, you know, I'm on a yarn diet. I gotta save up for stitches, and I feel like I've shown y'all something new nearly every week on the past couple episodes, episodes. I need to stop buying yarn and make stuff. How many times have you guys said that? So also on the Love Sock Wool podcast, she's doing a knit along, and I still haven't started my socks. Hopefully I can get the rollers finished and cast on my pencil socks, my number 2 pencil socks. And I've talked about these also. And again with the black and white, because my husband hates me and refuses to print colored pictures. He doesn't want to waste his precious ink on my knitting pattern. Well, I don't really blame him. But I will cast these on. This week, I'm going to try, I was watching the Fawn Knits. I believe she is the one that mentioned this. I think she said she saw it on the Knitting Expat podcast, which is with Mina. But the Fawn Knits said that you can do your cast on with DPNs and then switch them over to a single circular needle. I'm going to try that, I think, with these, because I really want to do 2 at a time, but I can't magic loop. Maybe I could if I practice. I don't want to practice. I just want to knit. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to DPN these and then flip them onto a circular, and we'll see how that goes. I just really want to do 2 at a time so they're done faster, but I think the Fawn Knit also said that she's working on a 2 at a time pair, and she doesn't feel like it's going any faster. She feels like she is actually faster with DPNs. Maybe I'm just a DPN user. We shall see. And this project bag is actually my first project bag ever that I ever bought, and I just bought it, and now I'm addicted to project bags. I say just bought it, I mean a couple months ago. And I actually put my Andre Sue zipper pull on this, and then on her bag I have my sock keychain and my rooster stitch marker that I made, or progress keeper. But so on this one I have this little owl because I just thought that pink really matched this bag with the little tree pattern. I love this bag, and this is from Mommy Sew. She has an Instagram. I know her in real life, a real life knitting friend that I met at Knit Night, so that's really exciting. She also made this llama bag, which is holding my Neuro sweater that I have not worked on. I say I haven't worked on it. I did a few rows on the back and then ripped it out, and then did a few rows and ripped it out, and did a few rows and ripped it out. I feel like I keep on doing the border wrong. It's either veering in or kind of bowing out because I'm either not doing a stitch or putting an extra stitch in, and it's kind of hard to tell where the cabling is. But so I just got frustrated with it, and it was hibernating. And I'm working on this with my Furls crochet hook. I think this is a size H. Yes, it's H. I love these hooks, y'all. You should get one. If they're in your budget at all, you need a Furls hook. I bought one after saving up and lusting for months, and then I bought like 5 more because I love them so much. And I wish I had one in every size, but I don't. So yes, Mommy Sew also made this project bag. I love it. It's got awesome cowboy fabric on the inside. And that's what my Neuro sweater is hibernating in, because it's in timeout. I also brought out, sorry, I'm going to look at my show notes for 1 second. My fall sweater cardigan that I started last year. So this is one I bought from a store. It's machine knit. And it's got pockets and a big collar that folds over. And I love it. And I wore it a lot for two falls. And it's thick and warm and amazing. Really amazing. And I love it. But I didn't make it. So I bought yarn. I searched for yarn that was the same fiber content because I love this sweater so much, the drape, the warmth. And I was shocked to find Red Heart had a yarn that was the same fiber content. If I could find the label that I know I kept. So this is Red Heart Boutique Midnight in colorway Harvest Moon, and the fiber is 65% acrylic, 23% wool, 6% metallic, and 6% nylon. And I have done the entire back. So basically what I did to design this, because I'm not a designer, is say, okay, I can see, and this was before I knit. I started crocheting this. I knew this was machine knit, so I basically just looked at it and decided what stitch would most look like what this looks like. So on the bottom I did single crochet. I would do a single crochet and then single crochet in the back loop only, so it did a ridged border. And then I picked up and did a post double crochet and then a single crochet, post double crochet, single crochet pattern on the entire thing. And it looks just like, I mean, you can see it's ridged, and this has that same ridge. I mean, it's not the exact same because one's knit and one's crocheted, but it looks the same. And so I have the whole back piece done. I have 1, 2 sleeves pretty much done. And then I have the two front pieces at this point, and I actually had, so they're both there. I actually had one piece, front piece, completely done. We were visiting, I've talked about this on a previous podcast, but we were visiting with friends, and I was working on this, and I wasn't really paying that close attention. We were drinking that night too. And I knit the entire front piece, but did the decreases for the armholes completely wrong. It just didn't match up to my sweater. Because basically what I'm doing is crocheting for a bit and holding it against my sweater, laid out on the ground. Then crocheting for a bit, holding it against my sweater. So it's about the same size. And yeah, the decreases were completely wrong. And so I ripped it all the way back. And my friend sat there with his eyes poking out, going, "What are you doing? You just made that. Why are you ripping it out?" And my husband kind of laughed and said that I do it all the time, because I do. So I have a piece of the collar done, and then another piece of the collar done. So basically all I have to do is finish the two front panels and finish doing the collar, piece it all together, maybe crochet some pockets if I have enough yarn. I hope I do. I think I do. I don't know. We'll see. And that's it. And so what made me want to get this out, first fall's coming, so I need a fall sweater. But also Regina from the Herb Splat podcast is doing a Fall in Love knit along. And I showed you my socks that I ripped out with this yarn, and I still plan to make socks with this yarn for that knit along. But I thought it would be nice to be able to finish this sweater for the Fall in Love knit along, because it's definitely fall colors. I mean, I love it. I really, really love it. And it's quite soft and amazing for Red Heart yarn. It was inexpensive and probably going to be my most used and loved sweater. However, I'm kind of worried that the fit won't be the same, so I nearly ripped it out. I just posted this weekend to my Instagram asking what you think I should do, the fate of my fall sweater, whether I should rip it out and knit the ambrosia sweater or finish the cardigan. And most people said to finish, so that's what I'm going to do. And then at that point, I don't like it, I can always rip it back and then knit the other sweater. So I thought it would be fun to do sorry, I'm doing a swap with the You and Me swap. They're putting it together off of Instagram, so if you want to jump on that, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think they're doing like a $30 budget. That's my husband. Isn't he funny? And you're supposed to be able to sign up and then ship out, I don't know, you can look at the dates. I will definitely link that on the show notes. And I would also like to, as sort of an incentive to get more people into the group, to do a giveaway. And I was sort of wanting to maybe get more people into spinning. So I thought I would give away my first spindle that I bought. And it's a really good quality spindle, but I also have another one, and I'll probably get one when I go to Stitches. So I thought it would be nice to give away a spindle. And I was going to also get a braid of fiber when I go into Knit Night this week to give away with this. So if you would like to win this spindle, it is a thatch spindle, and it's a high-low, so you can use top or bottom whorl. Even if you have never spun, if you just want to, if you're interested in it and you want to win the spindle, go to the Ravelry group, and I will post a thread topic titled "What Bugs You?" Ants bug me. I have such a problem with fire ants this year. I have not been able to get rid of them, and one bit me right on the hand yesterday. You see that little bug bite? Right there. An ant bit me. I have so many ant bites, it seems like as soon as one heals, I get another one. I have tried so much stuff. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They're just really bad this year, I think, because of all the rainy weather we've had. There's a lot of ants. So what bugs you? Share. Share and win on the podcast group. Won't that be exciting? Kind of a weird type of random giveaway, but why not? Why not? I have 500 followers on Instagram now. There's almost 800 followers or likes on my Facebook group. So I just thought it would be fun to do a giveaway for all these different people to come together onto my podcast group. Introduce yourselves and enter into the giveaway. That'll be a lot of fun. Also, I guess that is all the spinning, knitting, crocheting information that I have to share with you. So if that's all that you're here for, then thanks for sticking around. But if you want to hear some more about my lifestyle, continue watching. I thought that I would do a little quick story about what's on the farm. The chickens are still doing great, but I actually had a snake story for you this week. We live out in the middle of nowhere, as I've mentioned, and it's quite a chore to be able to have rats for our snake. That's what he eats, live rats. That's all he eats. And so a lot of times when we have company come in from the city, we'll ask them, now my ant bite's driving me nuts now that I mentioned it and I'm itching it. We'll have our company, we'll call them before they come and say, hey, will you stop at the pet store and get a rat for us? Our snake's hungry. Because he likes to eat a lot during the summer, but they actually hibernate in the winter, and he'll go months without eating at all. But he eats weekly, or tries to eat weekly in the summer months. So a lot of people bring us rats when they come to visit. And this week, we really needed to go get him some food. He hadn't eaten in about 2 weeks, and he was coming out of his habitat and searching for something to eat. So we drove into town specifically to go get him rats. And then my husband Bonus tripped me into Michael's, and that's where I got the stitch marker stuff. Anyway, the closest place to get rats to us is actually a PetSmart. Technically, PetSmart does not condone feeding mice or rats to snakes. They will not sell you a live rodent if they know that it's going to be a feeder. That makes no sense to me, because they sell snakes at PetSmart. They sell frozen mice at PetSmart to feed to their snakes. And they also sell crickets and fish for feeders. Feeder fish, feeder crickets, but no feeder rats. I've had pet rats. I totally get it. I love rats. They're cute, they're cuddly, they're good pets. But we have a snake right now, and he needs to eat. And what do snakes eat? They eat rats. It's the circle of life, and I don't get why PetSmart refuses to sell something as a feeder when they sell other feeders because they're morally opposed to it. It just doesn't really make any sense. But there you go. I go in there and I buy feeders, and I have to lie to these people. Because sometimes they ask. They don't always ask, but sometimes they ask. So these aren't feeders, right? Nope, not feeders. And what's so funny about it is I've probably bought 50 or more from PetSmart. Now, if you go to Petco will gladly sell you feeder rats and mice and whatever else you want. But PetSmart is the one that's closer. Petco is it's an additional, I think, 30 miles past what we need to drive. And so, yeah, I lie. I go in there and I lie. And this past trip was the worst that I've ever had to lie to these people. 3 people asked me very pointedly if they were feeders. And then after all of that hullabaloo, you have to fill out paperwork in case they die or whatever. You can take them back in case they die. They're going to die. You can take them back and get a replacement. So I have to fill out paperwork, and I usually make up a fake name every time I go to get a rat. I just make up a fake name and a fake address to fill out on the forms, because they're not going to follow you home and make sure you're taking care of this rat. So as I'm filling that out, another guy, kind of like, I guess, a manager type person, says to the person that's helping me, so you put the pesticides on the mice, right? Like, guy, you're so full of it. You do not put anything on your rats. I know, because I have fed 1,000 rats to my snake that I bought from this place, and he's still not dead. They only say that as a scare tactic for somebody who doesn't know any better, who is uneducated, to scare them into not feeding a rat to their snake from that store, because they're going to put chemicals on the rat that's going to in turn kill your snake. You're liars. You're not fooling anybody. I bought a rat. I fed it to my snake. He's fine. I've done this 100 times. It's just kind of funny. It's kind of funny and anxiety-inducing to have to go in there and lie and come up with this fake name and be disguised. Not really be disguised, but my daughter joked that I should start coming up with disguises, because I go to the same store. It's never the same people, and places like that are so busy, there's no way they'd recognize me. It's not every week that I go in there. Sometimes we get rats when we're in Fort Worth, which we go to Petco when we're there, and it's not a problem. So I just thought that was kind of a funny story to be able to share with you guys. And if you don't have most people are scared of snakes. I don't know. They're the easiest, most docile pet in the entire land. I really enjoy keeping him, and his tank stays relatively clean. He sheds and uses the bathroom every time he eats, so you just literally pick up the one little pile of bathroom and throw it away and make sure he has fresh water. They're so easy to care for. If you don't have a snake, you should get one. You should. Your kids would love you. My kids love the snake, and they hold it all the time, and it's not really cuddly, but it's fun. It's fun to watch him and to see your guests kind of freak out and ask you not to get out the snake. So that's all I have for you this week. Go check out the group. Enter into the spindle giveaway. Lots of podcasters do giveaways, so I thought I would too. What the heck? I had this. So I hope you want it and enter. That'd be fun. More interactions with fellow knitters and spinners and crocheters. So I look forward to talking with y'all more. Thanks for watching.